Hi everyone, welcome back to The Learning Gardener. If you haven't been here before, my name is Pip, and today we are in the garden, and you can probably hear the squelching under my feet because we have had at least another 10 to 12 inches of rain in the last 2 days, exactly what we needed. But I have found 2 leather gloves, which in itself is a minor miracle, and that means that we are going to be dealing with the roses today. Last time I tried to deal with the roses, I only had 1 glove, because that always happens to me when I try and prune roses, and I only had blunt secateurs, which meant I had to try and cut them with my left non-dominant hand so that I didn't get stabbed, and as you can imagine, it went really well. So while we have 2 leather gloves that are findable, we're going to tame these. These are the Nima climbing roses. They're still producing buds and flowers all through winter, but we need to tame this mess while it's easier to do, while there's less leaves. I can see it starting to bud out. The weather, despite the rain in the last few days, has started to warm up, and all the wattles in the local area have started to bloom. So I think spring is not too far away. We've also got 2 large containers with these gorgeous Roald Dahl David Austin roses that are my favorite, and in amongst here there's a whole mess of stuff that needs to be dealt with. Some of it is annuals and needs to be tossed. Some of it is weeds and needs to be given to the chickens. Some of it is perennials which have drowned. Some of it is roses which need to be dealt with. So, big stabbed. We need to prune this because this is already a beast, and just tame it back down. I'm not going to bother fertilizing today because, I mean, we've just had a stupid amount of rain lately. And we had the same thing last winter and the same thing the winter before. So I think this is now our new normal, or at least I'm going to assume it is and prepare for it. But we have more rain forecast. And at this point, putting fertilizer in is just going to be a waste of money, and it'll get washed downstream. Now, I don't know if you can see little Rafa's head sticking out here, but I think it's fair warning to say get ready for some craziness, because we've all been trapped inside for days while it rained. We had absolutely torrential storms, so we're all going a bit mad because we've been inside, and finally my post-surgical restrictions have been lifted. He's out of the cone of shame, so we're all fighting fit, famous last words, and it means we can finally get into some of these tasks that we've been waiting to do for all of winter, and we've only got like 3 and a little bit weeks left of winter, and we've got so much work to do. I'm not even going to bother with dealing with the mess of things like wheelbarrows that need to go away and stuff like that, because it's just going to tear up the lawn more. So we can just stay there while it's going to, be like it is, and maybe tomorrow, if it's been dried out for a little bit longer, I can put things away. But after we've pruned the roses and tamed the roses, I want to try and remove these archways, and you can probably see the other one behind me. These have obviously been replaced by the much sturdier Rio mesh archways, and I want to move them down to the orchard so we can do something like maybe grow sweet peas or food up them and put them in the orchard to encourage the bees into that area. Starting to see some bees emerge, which is great, but I want to make sure we can support our pollinators, and I really want to, the priority is grow food that is going to nourish my body, help me be healthier, recover my microbiome, help me recover from leaky gut, all the things. I really want to have so many cut flowers this year. I just want to get the blooms going. So after we've dealt with this, then I want to deal with this area. I hate this garden bed and have hated it for 2 seasons now. We've lived here for 2 seasons. So we obviously need to cut out the winter death. We need to weed, because some demon weed has come into this garden and spread like wildfire. I really want to repot the lemon tree, but I'm not sure how close these are to being ready and if I can do that without disturbing the whole thing, but we'll give it a go. But I want to put it in a bigger pot so it's happier. We have a lilac here that has failed to do anything, but it is quite close to the waterline, so I'm thinking I might, once I repot that, dig this up and do a pot switcheroo. We need to prune the roses here. We've got some snapdragons to plant. We've had some snapdragons finally take and survive. I've got a bunch of stuff that looks like it's something growing, but I don't know what it is, so I'm going to take it out. And this area needs a mulch like no tomorrow. I'm going to put who-flung dung all over it, even though the blackbirds will inevitably come through and kick it all off, which is super annoying. But I want to try and get some awesome perennials in here. We've got some gorgeous yellow echinacea down the back. We've got some aquilegia, which now that we've taken out the horrible tansy that was like cousin it here, it can finally get some sunlight. We've got snapdragons, which are perennial for us and will often flower into winter, but they're kind of an interesting shape. But I might prune that one back because I'll definitely tread on that. I got a, what's it called, buddleia, so a butterfly bush that I bought to replace one that died because of all the rain we've had, but it was not the right colour, so I've got the right colour. And then I thought we've got one in those horrible mess of containers that I just showed you as well, that I think is a similar colour, and we could pop that in here too. And at the very least the bees will be happy, and they're a gorgeous plant and it'll colour the colour bond. Not that this colour bond is as offensive as the other one, but I want to like this garden bed. I have always hated this. This has never turned out once the way I wanted it to. I had plans to widen it, but that's not happening anytime soon. Neither is the mowing, because the grass just cannot dry out. Now, depending on how we go for time, we have a very sad little sweet potato bag over there that not only looks soggy and is sitting in a giant puddle, because that's how much water we've had that even our drainage trenches can't cope. So we need to try and harvest them, and we need to replace the dead buddleia in this garden bed. And I'm really hoping we can get all of that done today. So let's get into it. The rose arbors look so much better. The back rose actually has a bit of rust on it, like quite a bit, but because we have been repeatedly paused by the rain, we've been really limited with what we can get done today and in general this winter, which is really frustrating. So even if I was going to spray something on the roses, I'm not going to do it today when it's probably going to rain again in another 10 minutes. But this front one, I mostly used the PVC coated wire ties. But then when I went inside for one of the mini rain breaks, I remembered that I had this thicker tie that I used to tie up the Privacy Pittosporum trees. So I used that on the back, made it a lot faster. And as I said, the one on the back is looking a bit more rusty than this one, but hopefully they'll be okay. We've got the beautiful dark purple straw flowers coming up. We've got apricot status coming through here and a few self-seeded bunny's tails, which I love. I did want to have, they were My Navy Sweet Mammoth sweet peas coming all the way up here, but only like 3 have survived. So I need to think about what I want to have growing up this arbor in summer. We did used to have another arbor here. That was our Tromboncino archway, but that fell down multiple times because it was a temporary archway after the first one collapsed, and then it got repurposed into being doors for the chicken coops. So we need to think about what we're going to grow on these archways. We're obviously not going to grow Tromboncinos because I want to be able to walk all the way down the pathway and not get walloped in the head by a Tromboncino. And I've still got loads of Tromboncino sitting on the table inside that I still need to deal with. On the plus side, I feel so much better just having those front roses at the deck, the Roald Dahl ones, tidied up. They look so much less of a menace like they are now. But we need to get on to the other jobs, and I feel like I've been handcuffed by the weather and my physical capabilities lately. It's so frustrating, and like on a day like today where you're all gung-ho to get stuck into it and then it keeps raining and you go in and sit down and you're just kind of like, fine, well, I guess I'll just change the bed sheets. Just want to spend some time out in the garden and all we're getting is rain. It's so frustrating. Getting this garden bed cleaned up, mulched up, pruned up, repotted, getting this sorted is actually more of a priority than removing the other archways that we were going to put in the orchard. So in terms of what we're going to do now, we're going to try and give this an overhaul, and I mean hopefully the weather just holds out because this bed really needs it. The ground is like legit soupy. I was actually really surprised by the way it behaved after we dug up the lilac, and there's barely any roots left on the lilac, so I mean, given how revolting the soil is, I'm not surprised this poor little thing has failed to achieve anything. But it was very odd stepping on that section of the ground, trying to compact it back down, and kind of seeing it almost like it had a puddle of water underneath and it just couldn't settle. And I did multiple times try and dig it up to see if maybe the water pipe was actually leaking there. But because of that, I can't really in good conscience plant my buddleia. I can probably plant the snapdragons, but I'm not going to because the ground is just so wet and I don't want things to die straight away, and we already know the buddleia has died. So all I'm going to do now is spread the mulch and call it quits for today because it's raining again. One of the main reasons why I'm going to mulch even though the weather is like it is because unmulched soil wants to be covered, and I have noticed a huge uptick in the weeds in this area. So if I can just get it covered, then maybe that will settle down a little bit. The other thing is with the hoof-flung dung, if the rain sort of holds it down, it'll make it harder for the blackbirds to kick up and spread all over the yard. And this is like a very strong fertilizer, so it will help the soil, because the soil here has historically been hydrophobic and not anymore. One of the main reasons why I want to make sure I spread the mulch today is because I've noticed a very significant uptick in the number of weeds in this garden bed, and that's because the mulch had all died back and uncovered soil doesn't want to be uncovered, so the weeds move in. And I'm hoping that if I can just spread this round, also that the rain will sort of rain it in and settle it down flat, which makes it harder for the blackbirds to dig up. It is a very high density compost kind of material with a lot of chicken poo in it, so it'll help the quality of the soil as well. So I've just got 2 bags already down here. I'm not going to go and get any more because the weather is just horrendous. God, it's just so bad. It's so wet. But I'm going to spread that last bag. It won't cover this whole garden bed, but you know what? It'll do for now. But I want to get the microphone out of the wet. I want to get me out of the wet, so we'll just spread it, move on with our lives. I hope you guys have enjoyed hanging out in my soup kitchen on The Learning Gardener.